What's up, everyone? Welcome to this day in Philly Sports History for May 27th, 2024. I'm your host, Jim Montgomery. Welcome to a Monday edition of the podcast, a Memorial Day Monday. Please, throughout, no matter what you do today, take a minute and remember those who lost their lives serving our country so we are able to party this weekend, have the barbecues, but don't lose sight and forget on what this day is. And if you have anybody in your family or friends who have lost their lives for fighting for our freedoms, I commend you. Thank you. And it's just, I don't want us to lose sight of what this day means. So happy Memorial Day. Take a minute today, reflect, remember on what this day means. And again, if you have somebody in your family or circle of friends who have lost their lives, thank you for their service and thank you for your sacrifice as well. All right, let's start then with a recap of today's question of the day. I asked you yesterday, burgers or dogs, which one is your go-to? 55% of you surprisingly said hot dogs, and I could see that. Like I said, I go sausage, burger, then hot dogs. I had some people write in, a lot of Italian sausage folks. A few people wrote in for ribs. But I mean, I guess I could see the hot dog. Hot dog sometimes is easier. Take it, throw a little mustard, ketchup, whatever on top, and you're on your way. But as always, thank you for participating in the question of the day. We will have another one later in the show. 267-495-8531. Get you in on the Back to the Future voice and text line. Let me know what your thoughts are on barbecue food, Philly sports, whatever you got going on. Text, leave a message. Hit me up on social media, Jimbo_Mott at Twitter and TikTok, at Philly Jimbo on Instagram. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, Jimbo_Mott. Tell your friends when you're out barbecuing today. Spread the word. Let's grow this thing. We have a lot of good things coming up on the horizon this summer, including the Ultimate Philly Sports Nickname Tournament starting June 24th. We will have Selection Friday show on the Friday before June 21st. Probably going to do that as a standalone episode, so stay tuned for that. But looking forward to it. 64 nicknames, 4 regions. You vote. What is your favorite? And we'll see who comes out on top with the Ultimate Philly Sports Nickname Tournament. Any information you need for the Philadelphia Sports Hall of Fame induction ceremony, including ticket information, is in the link in the description. And also, if you have anything you want to donate or be a sponsor, hit me up with that as well. Tickets are selling fast. And again, this is going to be a big ceremony based on who's coming or who's being inducted. So get your tickets early and don't be left out. All right. What a weird series this weekend in Colorado for the Phils. Really thought this was going to be the series where everybody started hitting the air out in Colorado, and kind of quite the opposite happened. They lost the first game, what was it, 3-2 or 4-3. They exploded the other night for 6 in the ninth, and then just couldn't get anything done yesterday. Ranger was a little wild and not his normal self the first couple innings, but he did settle down, I thought, relatively good. Still not the kind of outing he's had this season so far. Almost got his head taken off by a line drive. Glad to see he was all right, because that could have been nasty. It just, I don't know. This is just a weird series. And sometimes you have it, and I've said it before, something about playing on the West Coast. Just funky things happen. And I don't know. This is just, it happens. This is the first series they've lost since April, beginning of April, when they lost to the Reds. Still a lot of time left in the year, obviously, but it's just one of those anomaly things that happen. And it wasn't like they played terrible. They just didn't do what they should have done in Colorado, which is weird. But you put it behind you, you move on. They're in San Francisco for the next 3 days before coming home to take on the Cardinals. Tawan Walker on the mound today. Buckle up. You never know what's going to happen with Tawan. But Ranger suffered his first loss of the season, but that's okay. He wasn't going to go undefeated. Still, I would love to see a Go-Go Ranger Suarez shirt on Philly Goat. But check them out for the swimsuit, the censored, pixelated swimsuit. It's hilarious. Check the shirts out too. The London series stuff. They have the Feast Mode Fanatic, Angry Sixers fan. You name it, they got it. Go check it out and just spend some time looking through, because there are some things that don't pop up on the main screen, and they have a ton. When I say a ton, there is a lot of great shirts. So go check it out. Use the promo code Jim Montgomery for 10% off your order. That's phillygoat.com. Promo code Jim Montgomery for 10% off. All right, we do have some Sixers news. Back to the Phillies, too. Some bad news for the Braves. Ronald Acuna Jr. has a torn ACL. And obviously, I mean, you don't wish injury on anyone, but that's a tough break for the Braves, who now lost Strider and Acuna, arguably their best pitcher and their best player. But just a freak injury, too. I saw like he just tried to stop and his knee just gave out. So tough blow for them. Again, you don't like to see that. It's just a tough break for them. But they're up 6 games going into Memorial Day, which you can't really ask for much more than that. So we will take it. All right, back to the Sixers. So the Sixers, now they're this isn't the max player they're going to get, but apparently they're interested in bringing back Kelly Oubre. And I said that at the end of last season. He's one of the guys I think I would want to see back. But other than that, no. It's a quiet week or a quiet weekend for Philly sports, which I guess sometimes is a good thing. But that was the extent of the Sixers news, and I would totally take Kelly Oubre back. Be sure to check out my boys at the Clashing Conferences for your basketball fix, anywhere you get your podcasts, as well as on YouTube. No Mishkov update today either. Like I said, it was a very, very quiet day in Philly sports, which, again, sometimes that's good. The Phillies were really the only thing in town. But that leads us to today's question of the day. Yesterday we did hot dog versus hamburger. Today, what is your go-to? And we're going to have a little bit of fun, like I said, because there's not much going on in Philly sports today. So what is your go-to side dish? Are you a potato salad, pasta salad, coleslaw, or a macaroni salad? Personally, I always go for either the macaroni, but it has to be the Amish, the Amish creamy stuff. And it has to be, like, I'm very particular when it comes to that. Otherwise, I usually go pasta salad. I can throw down some potato salad as well. But let me know what your favorite side dish is. Potato, macaroni, pasta, or coleslaw. 267-495-8531. Get you in on the Back to the Future voice and text line. I happen to have some of all 4 in my refrigerator for later today. Looking forward to that. But let me know, what is your go-to side dish if you're at a barbecue? All right, today we're going to go back to 1975. And on this day in 1975, the Flyers beat the Buffalo Sabres 2-0 to win their second straight Stanley Cup. They ended up winning that finals 4-2. Hound Dog Bob Kelly. Will Hound Dog make our bracket of 64 for the nickname tournament? There's a possibility, and how high will they be seeded? But Hound Dog Bob Kelly and Bill Clement scored the only goals for the Flyers in the third period. Bernie Perrant had 32 saves, and obviously we know this was the last Stanley Cup that the Flyers won. It has been a long time. They just celebrated 50 years of winning the first one a couple weeks ago, which is insane to think about. But this Stanley Cup was an interesting couple firsts that happened. This was the first Stanley Cup where 2 non-original 6 teams played. It was the first one without one of the original 6 playing. So Buffalo, I believe, came in the early 70s, Flyers in 1967. So the first Stanley Cup final featuring the non-original 6 teams. And the Flyers became the last team to win a Stanley Cup with a roster made up of all Canadians. Kind of one of those abnormal things that you wouldn't even think about. But yes, they had a team full of Canadians on this Stanley Cup team, and they were the last team to do it that way. And we know that the Flyers would go back into the Cup Finals in 1976 before losing to the Montreal Canadiens. And again, it's been a very, very long time for the Flyers. But on this day in 1975, they won their second consecutive Stanley Cup. The last time the Flyers won one was on this day back in 1975. And then finally today, it's a family affair. Today we're going to spotlight Albert King, small forward / shooting guard who played for the Sixers. Albert was the number 10 overall pick in 1981 by the New Jersey Nets. He played for the Sixers one season in 1980, the 87-88 season. He averaged 7 points, 3 rebounds, and an assist and a half per game. As is typical with the Sixers, he comes in, he's like a career 40-some% three-point shooter, and he shoots a career low 39% in that 87-88 season. That team was just a bad overall team. It was the first year post-Doc. They're still dealing with the aftermath of the Moses Malone, not getting Brad Daugherty. And it was just a team in transition. However, Albert King, you probably have heard of his older brother, Bernard King, who is a 4-time NBA All-Star, 4-time All-NBA, the 1985 scoring champion, comeback player of the year, and Hall of Famer. Yes, that Bernard King. And as we've been talking throughout this month with this is hands down one of the ones that we've had the wrong brother. We got Albert. We needed Bernard. But that is today's It's a Family Affair spotlight. We had Albert King. We wish we could have had Bernard King, who was a Hall of Fame or is a Hall of Famer. Instead, we had Albert, who is not a Hall of Famer. But he is today's It's a Family Affair spotlight. On this day back in 1975, Flyers win their second consecutive Stanley Cup, beating the Buffalo Sabres 2-0 to win the series 4-2. They won it up in Buffalo, too. Would have been nice for them to win it at the Spectrum, but they won it up. I forget the name. It was like the Buffalo Center or something. But that happened on this day in 1975. Let me know what your go-to side dish is. Are you potato, coleslaw, macaroni, or pasta salad? And the pasta salad has to be the good stuff with the cheese and the salami and like not just pasta. You gotta have the cheese, pepperoni, things like that. Like that's the kind of pasta salad I'm talking about. The good stuff, not that cheap stuff. Like the good homemade. Get some nice Italian salad dressing. You know what I'm saying. But let me know. 267-495-8531. Get you in on the Back to the Future voice and text line. Phillies, San Francisco. It's one of those. And San Francisco is one of those places where they never seem to play well. So we'll have to see how this week goes. But I did say if they can take 2 out of 3 from the Giants, I wanted to go minimum 3-3 on this road trip. So that's still salvageable. That's still out there. It's up to you, Tawan. Let's get it done. Be sure to take a moment today and remember why we're celebrating Memorial Day, and remember those who lost their lives and gave the ultimate sacrifice so we can go out there and eat our pasta salad and our burgers and our hot dogs. I, for one, appreciate it, especially because if you're out there and you have a family member or a close friend who did lose their lives, truly, truly appreciate your sacrifice, and my thoughts are with you today, but just thank you for your family or your friends' service. I truly appreciate it, and I think most people out there do too. Just don't lose sight of that, and also don't be an idiot. I keep saying it, but behave. Don't do anything dumb. Call a cab, call an Uber, whatever you got to do. But go out, be safe today. This has been This Day in Philly Sports History for May 27th, 2024. I'm Jim Montgomery, and until next time, I'll see you when I see you.